Hi friends, welcome back to Christy's house. This week's video is late. Today is Wednesday. I'm recording another intro, probably the fifth one. What is it doing? I don't I'll need some more tea. Hi friends. Hi friends. I have Hi friends, welcome back to Christy's house. I did some because it's just been a really heavy week. So in the I don't like any of that. I have to scrap all of that. Ugh. Why is recording a video so hard? I talk all the time. This should not be difficult.
One eternity later.
I am going to just go ahead and jump straight into it. This week's video, we made a gnome. We have made a gnome. It's super cute. Cute, pretty. I don't know. You be the judge. You tell me what you think when you see it at the end. There's going to be a lot of yapping, as usual. There is some stitching. I did assembly off camera because, you know, can't give away all my secrets. Then there's some embellishment that goes on it towards the end, and then we'll wrap it up. I hope you stick around. I hope you enjoy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you at the end of the video. It looks like the cold front that we were promised is actually going to come through this weekend. I have decided, since I'm probably going to be in the house for the next couple of days, several days maybe, I'm not really sure how long it's going to last, I thought maybe I would make some gnomes. Valentine's Day is right around the corner. And while Valentine's Day is not my favorite holiday, I feel like I can put my own spooky twist on a Valentine's Day gnome. I know the market is completely oversaturated with gnomes, and a lot of people don't like gnomes. They're fun for me to make. I want them to be a little bit less cutesy, more my speed. So more black, less pink. I think what we're going to do is we're going to head over to Michael's and get some inspiration from whatever they have out on the shelves. So I'm going to show you these little gnomies first, so you have an idea of what I'm talking about, and then we're going to head to Michael's. Okay, here are my two most recent gnomes. Some of my favorite gnomes to make are the autumn gnomes, mostly because I can really get some of these cute details in, and I just really enjoy doing the stitching. And you'll see I have some stitching here, some beading. I've got some moss and miniature pine cones, some more decorative stitching on the back. This one is actually inspired by an AI generated image that my best friend sent to me. So I was like, okay, well, I can definitely make something similar. I mean, look at all of these gorgeous flowers. It's plum, kind of a plum color, and you can see there's some stitching on the sleeve. There's stitching on the brim of the hat. There's lots and lots and lots of embellishments on the back, as well as tons of stitching on the back of the little cape. Oh, he's so cute. At least I think he is. So those are the two that I have. Heading over to Michael's, I had very high hopes of finding some really great moody Valentine's decor, which would serve as inspiration for our little gnome. Unfortunately, that is not what I found. I only found the very typical red and pink Valentine's Day supplies. This is not what I want. I must say I'm a little disappointed. These guys are awfully cute though, aren't they? Some little donuts. It's cute. And I do like the cherry garland. The cherry garland is very cute. And then here's some more paper crafting goods. I don't think I'm going to be doing any paper crafting for Valentine's Day though. Look at all of this Christmas leftover. This is definitely more what we're looking for. We've got spring. They've got lots of St. Patrick's Day here. And look, more Christmas clearance. My God. Okay, so that was actually pretty disappointing. There was a lot of Christmas merchandise left over. Usually there's a little bit, but we're well into January and there's still a ton on the shelves. The Valentine's Day selection of decor, normally they're home decor for Valentine's Day. They've got all kinds of things out, and this year, no. Which I suppose might be a good thing considering that none of the Christmas stuff seemed to sell very well. These people are crazy on the road over here. There's a guy up here who has his blinker on and there's plenty of room, but he's not getting in front of me. Oh, he's getting on the freeway further over. This area stresses me out. I'm not built for this kind of driving anymore in Houston. It's so bad. At any rate, so I did grab that ribbon. I got those little there we go again. I've had a busy morning and I'm getting a late start into the craft room today. Yesterday, I went to Michael's. I ended up having to go to Hobby Lobby, which we're not going to get into, but I don't have Joann's anymore, so I had to go to Hobby Lobby. Ended up finding really pretty burgundy felt that I like. And I think I have an idea of how I'm going to craft this Gnome. So the first thing I need to do is cut out my pattern pieces. And then I need to set aside my embroidery threads and needles, get all of that together, the beads and all that sort of thing so that I can start stitching. So the next bit in this process is cut pattern pieces and start stitching. This pencil gave me so much grief. It would not mark on the felt properly. And it's difficult sometimes to get these pencils to mark on felt anyway, but this one was such a pain. And I couldn't find my friction pen. So I had to make do with this pencil and carry on the best I could. Now here I am on a side quest. This little box is what I keep my aughts in. Extra threads, leftover bits of material, very small scraps. I save them and I use them as stuffing in other projects. So here I am just making room in my box for new scraps by putting this old stuff into an old cookie tin. I gave up on the pencil here, as you can see, and started using markers. I do eventually find my friction pen, and I do use that later in the video, but I have since misplaced it. So I'm sure I'll find it on my desk somewhere when I clean it up again. Okay, so I have cut out my pattern pieces, and while I was cutting out my pattern pieces, I decided to go ahead and cut a larger template for the cape. My gnomes are getting a little bit bigger, not much bigger, but they are getting bigger as I continue to make them. While the hat brim and the actual cone of the hat is perfectly fine, I have found that I need a larger cape. For a comparison, this is one of my gnomes that I made a couple of years ago, and he's all black, but he's tiny in comparison to this guy. He is significantly bigger. I would like for this cape to actually extend out a little bit further and be a little bit lower down here. And then, of course, you know, if this extends further out, you might be able to see the bottom of the cape, because, you know, I kind of want this to rest where you can see it. At any rate, I decided to make the pattern bigger. So the next thing to do is to get ready to stitch. I need to decide if I'm going to do primitive stitching, which is my preferred stitching method, or if I want to do maybe some scroll work or, you know, spider webs or, you know, something like that. So I'm going to think about that and get my threads and my needle ready, and then I'll start stitching. I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing here, but I'm clearly very busy. The good news is that at this point, you can see that I have found my friction pin. Now, as I say, again, I did misplace it, and as of right now, I still have not found it. I will, though, never fear. Bring you up a little bit. Okay, I have the rough outline of the scroll work that I decided I wanted to embroider on here. I'm going to get my black threads ready and start stitching. We'll see how it turns out. If I don't like it, I can always undo it. Okay, so I'm sitting here in the living room. This is the stitching that I got done last night. And I thought, okay, well, I'll come and put some of this really pretty sparkly red. I don't like the way it looks. What's this stuff? I don't like the red against my burgundy. It's just too similar, but not similar enough, I guess? I'm not sure, but I don't like it. So I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to do some more with black instead. I've removed the stitching from down here, and I have gotten the black. So I've got a length here. I'm going to split it into, this is 6 strands. I'm going to split it down to 3, and possibly 2, and then start with a second layer of scroll work all the way around. So shit's bad. Shit is definitely bad around here. It hasn't reached my doorstep yet, but it's just a matter of time. It's cold as shit outside as well. For Houston, it's real damn cold. And I decided to switch off the news, switch off the YouTube, social media, everything. I need to clear my head. I want to be in a positive mental state before I start stitching. I'm going to turn this off, go make some tea, and I'll join you back here in just a little bit. It's been a few minutes. I'm on my second cup, and I highly recommend this. Sweet Tangerine Positive Energy. I hope that's showing up correctly on the screen and not backwards. I try to enjoy the cold weather that I have down here because it's so rare. It's drizzling outside. It's cold. It's in the 40s. I know the rest of the country is in like the negative 200s or something. I don't know. It's like Arctic, Hoth out there. This is a pretty big winter storm. And we've done all the precautions we can here. We've covered our pipes. We've insulated them. The house is well insulated. Fingers crossed, we're going to be fine. I want to show you what I did over the last couple of days because I stitched a good portion of the day yesterday. I'm excited about the stitching. I've got some really wonky vines on this little Gnome outfit here. And I added some beads. I'll bring you in closer, you can see. So we're going to continue that. I like really pretty embroidery. I do. And I'm kind of a embroiderer. It's not really my thing. I don't like it so much. I think it's beautiful, but it's not what I want to do. So I like, more of this kind of stilted, crazy style, and then even more primitive, just stab stitching. Tea, hold on. So good. I have like a big heaping teaspoon of honey in it too, so it's delicious. And what I like about this tea is it's good hot and cold. And they have another one. I think it's called Blueberry Slim Life. Delicious. And I especially like that one cold. I digress as usual. I want to bury my head in the sand today. There's too much bad news coming out of the north side of this country, and I don't want to think about it. And I want to do some stitching and for a few hours at least pretend like everything's fine. It's definitely not fine. There are terrible, terrible things happening out there. And I just don't want to think about it for a few hours. So we're going to do stitching and have tea. And I'll bring you down here so you can see kind of what I'm working with. Okay. So good. Okay. Come on down. I'm going to edit that out. Okay, so here are my pattern pieces that I had cut out yesterday. Yesterday, possibly the day before. At this point, the days are starting to blur together. These are the sleeves. So they will roll up and their little hands will be in here. I have some old antique gold beads that I picked up. So I have those. And then I also have similar size black. These are the larger ones. And I have here. I have some smaller ones in here. So this size here is predominantly what I've used throughout. This is the cape. I've got 3 different layers of stitching. You can see how wonky it is. I absolutely love it. You know, it's not perfect embroidery stitch. It's very wonky. It's intentional. The imperfections are intentional, and I love it, and I hope that you love it as well. But if you don't, that's okay. I'm not offended. So today I will be stitching the cone of the hat. And the plan is to make these meandering stitches all over. Maybe 1, 2, 3. Maybe this one will have another branch coming off of it. So probably 3 main stems, 3 main vines, and then with little branches coming off of it. And then we'll do the same thing with the small stitching to fill in some of the spaces, and then of course the beading. Welcome back to the craft room. Today's Monday. We survived the winter storm. In my part of Houston, we just got really cold. I'm grateful. And yesterday, I decided to take the day off. I did a little bit of stitching yesterday, but I had a really nice therapeutic long chat with a very good friend, and I am ready to get the show on the road with this gnome. I've spent a lot of time stitching this gnome. I really like the design. I like how it's turning out, and I'm looking forward to getting it finished. Assemble the gnome, and I'll do the final stitching, which is typically along the seam at the back cone of the hat, and then we will embellish the gnome and finish it up. So I'll bring you along with some of that, and I'll show you the final product at the end. I think that's it for now. Pretty sure. I got lotion on my hands, so I'm putting my rings back on. I don't like to put lotion, or I don't like to have jewelry on my fingers when I am washing my hands or anything like that. I just don't like the water getting stuck underneath my jewelry. So I take it off, put it in my pocket, and wash, dry, lotion. Anyways, that just rambling again as usual. Okay, so I've got coffee today. I'll probably switch over to tea here shortly. It is still really cold, and I'm okay with that. I don't mind it. Our pipes are good. They didn't freeze last night. My pond is still going. I left the pump running and I checked it on and off throughout the night. Kept the water circulating, so it didn't freeze. Hopefully, the fish are okay. Didn't see any floating this morning, so hopefully they're okay and they're just kind of hibernating. I'm not sure what the water temperature got, but it didn't get to freezing, so that's a good sign. I think the little goldfish can handle up to 20 degrees. So anyway, fingers crossed for that. A lot of the flowers and plants, it's tropical, so a lot of it didn't make it. Roots should be okay, so I expect it to come back in the spring. I'm not sure about the pentas. I had 2 that survived the heat of the summer and the drought, but I'm not sure if they'll survive the freeze. We'll see. We'll get it out in the garden. The sun was supposed to be out today, but it's not looking too promising. And we're supposed to warm up into the 40s and 50s this week. So we'll go out in the garden after this gnome is finished, and it warms up a little bit, and we'll kind of take stock. A lot of things, the foliage is tender, didn't make it. My oxalis is doing great. It can handle the cold. And what else? Oh, the roses are good. I have a bunch of potted plants inside the shed, so we'll see how they fared. Because it's not insulated, obviously, but it's protected from the wind. So, okay, we'll check the garden in a few days. In the meantime, I want to get this gnome finished. I've done pretty much all the stitching I'm going to do on this gnome. It's coming along very nicely. Get some close-up of that. Got the sleeves, the brim of the hat, and the cone of the hat. And I mean, I loved this stitching. So now all I need to do is stitch up the hat, assemble the gnome, and then we can embellish it. My favorite part is embellishing. So I will bring you down here. Actually, no. I'm going to watch. No. Cut. Cut all of that out. Okay, so I'm going to stitch the gnome together, assemble all the parts, and then we can get to embellishing. And I'm going to do that off camera. It's just tedious, and I can't give away all of my secrets. So, coffee, cheers, whatever you're drinking, and I'll meet you back in 2 ticks. It is several hours later, and I have at last assembled my little gnome. It took a lot longer than I anticipated. I spent a lot of time on this gnome, and we're not done yet. We are not done yet. I grossly miscalculated how long this was going to take. And that is not something that I normally do. Also miscalculated with this giant roll of paper towels up here. I probably should strongly consider moving that. I want to get this gnome wrapped up. I want to get this video wrapped up. This process has taken me entirely too long. I have taken my time, which is fine, but I want to get a video out on Wednesday. It's already Monday, and I started this last Wednesday. So I think maybe it was Friday. I don't remember. Either way, it's taking me entirely too long. Let's get busy. Okay, first things first. Here is our completed Gnome. I'm doing handheld, I'm sorry. Okay, the only thing that I've really added that wasn't included is right here. Let's see if you can focus on that. I don't know. Okay, right there is a little ring, and there's one on the other side as well. I'd like to put a little chain across here. So I'll be doing that. Let me put this camera up. Okay, so here's our little dude. I like to have the gnomes hold something. I'm not sold on this just yet. I did add this plastic vine, and this is just a skewer that's been painted, but he can hold it. I want to show some of the embellishments. These were all of the possible embellishments to add to the hat. I ended up doing stitching with a little bit of beadwork. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to add something. Oh, and I have a little jingle bell and some beads. I don't know if you can hear that. There we go. I have all kinds of embellishments that I can put on this little gnome. I've got bones. I have the candle. I have this tiny little candle. You know what? Let me bring you in a little bit closer. There we go. Okay. I have this teeny tiny candle. I have 2 skulls. These are both Tim Holtz skulls. These are older. These were the ones from last year, I believe, or possibly the year before. We have a dragon. Here we have a little bat. This would be super cute. Look how cute would that be if I hung it upside down and then had some dangles on it or something. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, here's another spider. Lots of these little Gothic charms. These are all possibilities, but none are set in stone. That one there. Here's another spider. It feels a bit too big. I really prefer these 2 little guys. One is sparkly and one's velvet, but they're the right size. So I think I'm going to end up going with these 2. I have this little dragon charm. He's holding a black obsidian ball. I really like that. This little death's head moth. I think it's supposed to be a death's head moth. It's got a skull on it. This gorgeous heart. I think the red crystal is a bit too red, but if I put these little blood drop beads on here as well, I've got several more in here, I think it'll be okay. So this maybe. I have this little skull here. which I may use instead of this one. Oh, I found these gorgeous gold-toned spiders. I think I just have one in here. And then I also have this swan. I think all of these charms go together. They're all really nice Gothic charms, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they are going to all go on the gnome, because that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff. Here's another skull, teeny tiny. Oh, this one, it looks like I had painted at some point. Lots of skulls. Oh, this tiny bat and this tiny dust head mouth. I also have this spider web, another key. This is just a gold bracelet finding. I have some more hearts here. I don't like the silver tone, but that can be changed. And here's another bat, more skulls. I think this is supposed to be a pre-made earring. You just, put the wire on it yourself, but I'm going to use that for other things, obviously. I have these tiny little rosettes. Another spider. Again, it's the silver tone, but I can change that. I love this. Look, wouldn't this be gorgeous? Instead of the pearl. Yes, it would. Here is a vial. The lid comes off, and then you can fill it with, glitter or whatever you want. Okay, let's see. So that's pretty much it. The rest in here is, I have another little charm, some more of these little blood beads. Here's a little vial as well. So there's 2 little vials here. Not sure if I'll use either one of them. Okay, so what are we going to do? We also, let me get all of this put away. All of these little treasures. Okay. Here at last is our completed gnome. I think he came together absolutely beautifully. The colors are striking. They're very moody. The details of the florals, the stitching, the charms, everything came together wonderfully, and I am really thrilled with how he turned out, and I hope you are too. If you've made it this far in the video, why don't you go ahead and give me a like? The finish line is in sight. Okay, so I tried multiple various different angles for this gnome to show you the details. The overhead view is crap. The side view. So I'm just going to hold him. There are a lot of embellishments on this little dude, but I still have a ton of embellishments left over. This is not necessarily a bad thing because at some point it gets junky and it just doesn't look good, especially because he has so much stitching and he's already got so much going on, as you can see. We use some burgundy and black flowers, some organza flowers, as well as some paper flowers. We used some black trim, and I think I have a piece of that here. We ended up using this black trim here around, but it goes all the way around the brim of the hat. We used, just a ton of the embellishments that you saw earlier in the video. Here's a close-up of some of the stitching. Make sure I get my face out of there so you can see it. And he's got stitching on his little sleeves, as you saw before. Okay, so here is the large death's head moth. I ended up putting him on the back. Here is the smaller one. And you can see there's tons of stitching all over the hat. And there's the glittery spider there. He's got this little dangle at the tip. I usually always have some type of dangle at the tip of the hat. I just feel like it really is the finishing touch at the tip of the hat. You have to have a dangle. This one is black beads, black and gold beads with a old gold jingle bell. There is I'm filming this with natural light over here. I have the overhead light on. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Okay. In regards to filming, I have no idea what I'm doing. We're just winging this. We're winging it. Absolutely. Okay. So let's see if I can get a little bit more light on him. Okay. I know there's going to be a reflection in my glasses, and I'm sorry about that. You're just going to have to deal with it for right now because you need to be able to see what I'm pointing at. Okay. Okay. So here's one of the organza flowers. Here is the dragon's claw, and he's holding an obsidian orb. I felt like that was needed. There is some Halloween trim here. I love this. This is a Halloween snake. It's a hard plastic snake, and I ended up having to cut it to fit around the brim. I cut them into 2 pieces, and then I had to heat the plastic in order to stretch it out because it was a very sharp S-curve, and I needed a more elongated S-curve in order to get it to flow around the brim of the hat. He is actually hot glued down. I try to stitch where I can, but a lot of things do get hot glued because it's just easier. Some things get glued with my E6000, and I love these tiny tubes of E6000. E6000? Upside down. Yeah, E6000. So some things do get that permanent adhesive. Some things are just hot glued down. And the reason why the hot glue works is because it's felt. The hot glue seeps into the felt, and things typically stay a lot longer. Let's get back to it. Here's some of the burgundy paper flowers. And then this is a black leaf, a little feather spray. I ended up not using the these feathers, which I do really like, but I thought that this feather was plenty. So there's that. Let's see. Okay, and then so we have the cross and a skull, and you can see the trim there, and then of course the snake we just talked about. This is a paper flower, a black paper flower. I thought I had more black paper flowers. Apparently I used them all on the purple gnome. So I dyed with ink some purple ones, and I put black ink on them, and the paper just soaked it right up. So now they're black flowers. I mean, it works. So you got to get creative when you're trying to be crafty, and you need something, you don't have it, you got to make it. So here's that little miniature little death's head moth. Here's more of this gorgeous stitching that I'm absolutely in love with. I know I've said it before, I will probably say it again. And then here is the little gold swan. I love the gold swan. And then here is the other side of the snake. It wraps around the other side. I wanted snake on both sides. This is a tiny black bat butterfly wing. That embellishment came from Michael's from their Halloween accoutrements, and I loved it. So and it broke. It ended up breaking the little butterfly, and I thought, oh no, I'll glue it back together. I like this better. I have one piece of the wing tucked in here, and it just looks really nice. All right, here's his little Gnome nose and his little beard, well, mustache. I think that's it for the hat. Okay, so for the cape, the stitching did the heavy lifting on the cape. The cape is almost all stitching. I really didn't embellish the cape with much of anything else, and except for the death's head moth. I felt like he needed something back there. This little bat, I had to have a bat somewhere, and I really liked this particular bat, so I found this little bead dangle here, attached the bat, and then I attached it to this little hook that I stitched into the cape, and that's where the chain goes. I don't know why I wanted chain. I don't know why I felt that this guy needed chain, but he did, and it looks amazing. And it looks even better because this is like, it's almost like a little not an epaulet. I don't know. It's like a little badge or something. I know what I'm thinking of. The words are not coming to me. Okay, and then of course, you know, with his little hands, he's got holes in his little hands so that he can hold things. Now, I may yet add something for this hand, but for right now, all I have for him is this little staff. I had to screw in to the very tippy top here a little, it's like an eye. Do I have one down here? I don't think so. No. I don't have another one to show you. So I screwed in the top this little eye, and then I hooked 3 pieces of chain, and I only have 3 embellishments on the chain. I might add more, maybe. I'm just not sure yet. At any rate, so this little staff goes into his little, into his little hand. Hold on, I can't return it. Like so. Yeah. So he can actually hold it. It does kind of tend to fall down a little bit when you set him up. So I made this little disc with the other half of the butterfly wing. That little candle that I absolutely love, that little Tim Holtz candle. And I didn't have another small burgundy flower, but I did have a larger one, and it had this bud in the middle. So I just pulled the bud out and I used that, because otherwise the flower would have taken up the whole disc and it wouldn't look right. So there's that. And then I found this teeny tiny little flower here, or pardon me, the feather. And I don't know, it was stuck on the outside bag of something that I pulled out of my gnome making stash. And I just tossed it on the desk and ended up being the perfect little, oh, let me add one more little duty right there. Duty, doodad, whatever. Anyway, so this will sit through his hand. There is a tiny gold bead right in the middle there, and it has just a big enough hole in the center for this to sit. So that kind of helps to anchor the staff when it's in his little hand. So that's that. Okay, I think he turned out fabulous. I'm not sure I'm going to actually sell him. I might. If there's enough interest, I might put him up for sale. And if I figure out where the heck to put him up for sale at, because as you know, my Etsy shop is still... So, if you're interested, let me know. I also made wings for him. I was going to put some little wings on him, but the... let me get this light down a little bit. It's in like right in my eye. The brim of the hat gets in the way of the wings, so the wings were not going to work. And typically, if I put wings on a gnome, it usually has the it doesn't have the brim of the hat. It has like a typical gnome little hat that's either flat across or it has the two little ear flaps that come down because they don't get in the way. But I did make the wings, and I will be putting them on something at some point. And I used faux leather on the wings. Yeah. So I didn't use those. And then I had all of those treasures, the charm treasures, that I ended up not using. And I don't know, they might be on the desk behind me somewhere. I don't know, my craft room is a disaster again. It never got 100% clean when I was in here and doing my little cleaning video. It got like halfway clean. Well, it's halfway messed up again. So just happens sometimes. I think that's it. I really don't know what else to say about the little gnome. I mean, he's super cute. I love him. I absolutely love the way he turned out. I think he was really gorgeous. I think the only thing that I would add next time is maybe like a tiny raven or something. I don't have any tiny ravens yet. There are some on Amazon that are actually relatively good quality that might be to the proper scale. So I do want to buy those. Okay, we'll make another one. I'm currently working on an actual Valentine's Day gnome. This one with the primitive stitching and more typical colors. Look at this. Got a little bow and some of the other, look at that little heart. Can you see that? Hopefully it's focusing on it. So yeah, I'm currently stitching this one together. I'm going to put some red flowers on that one, and that'll be more typical. I think that's it. I don't think I have anything else to say. I'm kind of tired, honestly. I've been working on this for a long time, and this video I have recorded and re-recorded and re-recorded and re-recorded, and I'm recorded out. I don't know what else to say. Probably cut all of that out. All right, what should I name him? What do you think? He reminds me of Solara. I don't know if anybody reads Grace Draven. She's a kind of a fantasy romance author that lives here in Texas. She's a great, fantastic writer. What's the name of that book? I know it. Hold on. Let me look it up. I've got another. I'm recording on my main phone. I have another one here. Is this microphone still on? Yes, okay. A mess. Always a mess. Where is the internet on this phone? Okay. Master of Crows. And the main character, this is kind of what he's giving me these vibes, Solara. Anyway, if you ever get a chance, and if that's your book genre, give it a read. It's fantastic. I loved it. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me this week. And if you really want to help me out, go ahead and like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.